The Abandoned Bride.
Vivify Studio Stories.
I still remember that day. I stared into Joshua's gleaming eyes. The huge grin on Joshua's face said it all. It was our wedding day. Our 2 years of love affair finally turned into an official wedlock. The day both of us eagerly awaited for had finally arrived. We held each other's hands and promised that we would stand by each other through thick and thin. But neither did I know that Joshua promises to break them. For Joshua, words were mere mind's play for brainwashing. But for me, words were the ultimate truth and a way of connecting and bonding. I never knew about this trait of Joshua until few days after our wedding. Like the saying goes, it takes ages to really know somebody. But for me, even an age was less to know Joshua and his real self. The facade that he wore to cover his true self was truly deceptive. Taniya never knew that she had married a big bad wolf in disguise of Joshua, who was ready to gulp her alive any moment. Taniya, being immature and naive, always took Joshua as her Prince Charming. Taniya was overexcited on her wedding day. She was marrying the man of her dreams. Taniya's wedding was not a typical arranged marriage. Taniya met Joshua on her university trip. And from there, both Taniya and Joshua fell in love. Both of them decided that they will marry each other. Their friendship soon turned into the most talked love story at their college. Both Taniya and Joshua were regarded as the perfect couple in their university. Some girls even envied Taniya for having Joshua as her life partner. But Taniya paid no heed and went upon being the most perfect girlfriend she could be. Taniya was excited and jubilant for her big day, and so was Joshua. Taniya looked ravishing in her deep red gown. Taniya grooved to the traditional music being played at her wedding. Flower petals came showering down on the couple. Taniya and Joshua friends grooved to the groovy music and drums. Everyone at the wedding seemed to have enjoyed themselves immensely. This ceremony ended with Taniya seated at the passenger seat of the car and waving goodbyes to her family and guests present at this ceremony. The car accelerated out of the parking lot of the wedding hall. The guests waved goodbyes and blew kisses towards the married couple. So what's the plan? Where are we going? Taniya questioned Joshua. Well, we will be heading towards the hotel where we have booked our rooms, and within 5 hours we will depart for our honeymoon. Oh, that sounds great, exclaimed Taniya. Joshua had already booked tickets for their honeymoon. The car halted in front of the hotel, where Taniya and Joshua had to stay for an hour or so before they could depart for their honeymoon trip. All luggage which the couple would be needing for their honeymoon was in the hotel rooms. Taniya made sure that she had packed everything for the trip while Joshua slept and rested before the long hectic flight. Taniya's mobile bombarded with congratulations messages. As soon as 1 hour crossed Taniya's mobile phone, Joshua startled at hearing the alarm. Have you packed everything? Joshua questioned. Yes, Taniya replied back. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go for the trip, replied jubilant Joshua. Joshua and Taniya mounted their luggage into the car and headed towards the airport. Within a half an hour, Taniya and Joshua made their way to the airport. Taniya waited at the waiting area of the airport. Meanwhile, Joshua made sure that everything was loaded into the plane. Joshua had decided Cambodia as their honeymoon spot. Taniya looked thrilled and elevated as the couple mounted for their trip. Taniya buckled themselves on the airport reclining seats as the air hostess made that announcement of aeroplane taking off. The plane sailed through the lacy white edge, clouds rolled in over the blue sky. Joshua and Taniya discussed about the things they would do throughout the trip and the places they would visit. The couple discussed about their future plans and things they would do together. After a long and hectic flight of 2 hours, the plane landed on the airport runway of the Cambodian Koh Rong Island. The weather was breezy and cool. Typical like the Mediterranean weather. Taniya took a deep breath inhaling the fresh breeze. Joshua, on the other hand, as soon as he came out of the plane, stretched himself, relaxing his muscles and limbs. The couple took a taxi as soon as they landed. The taxi took the couple to their hotel in Rogue. The hotel was luxurious, calm and relaxed. The lobby smelled fresh and recently cleaned. The hotel was ideal spot for people who wanted to enjoy the sea life. As all the rooms of the hotel looked into the sea, it surely was a wonderful place. It was a 5-star hotel and resort that was located at the south of the Koh Rong Island. It was beautifully designed and full of qualified accommodation. It had all the features such as satellite TV, closet in room, electronic safe. There were diversified rooms for the guests to choose. It was surrounded by a soft sandy seashore and landscape of mountains and oceans. The staff was professional, friendly and warm. Joshua, Taniya straight away head towards the dining area where a chef and his team carefully prepared the delicious food for the guests. Taniya asked for the menu and to her great amazement, the menu included more than 60 Asian and European dishes for the buffet. The couple ordered thin-crust Italian pizza, fresh juice and a platter of seafood for their lunch. Taniya hogged on food and so did Joshua. After finishing their lunch, both of them took a tour of the hotel and went straight to bedroom. Taniya withdraw the satin curtains of the room. The windows of the room open into the fast-gushing ocean. The cool wind howled through the window. Joshua unpacked the luggage, whereas Taniya sipped through her hot afternoon tea. The door knocked startled Taniya. Joshua went to the door to open it and found the room service boy. He handed over Joshua something and went away. Well, who was it? Questioned Taniya. Well, it was the room service guy. He just gave me tickets to our cruise trip for the night. Tickets to what? Questioned Taniya. Well, Joshua exclaimed. I have booked a cruise trip for the night. You did what? Taniya jumped in excitement. Really? That is so sweet. Taniya exclaimed and tightly hugged Joshua. Oh, thank you, Joshua. I always dreamed of going on a cruise trip. You made my dream come true. All your dreams will come true, muttered Joshua. Well, I'm tired, exclaimed Joshua. And we have a long cruise trip in the evening, so it's better we rest before the cruise trip. Certainly, Taniya murmured. A loud door knock woke up Joshua and Taniya. Joshua made his way towards the door. It was the room service boy again. Sir, your trip is within 3 hours. Kindly get ready, the room service boy exclaimed. Taniya headed out of the bedroom as she was eager for the trip. Both of them started getting ready for the trip. Taniya and Joshua both were eager for the cruise trip. Taniya, swirled in her plaited black skirt, and Joshua looked ravishing in his black tuxedo. Taniya locked the room and headed towards the cruise. Joshua booked a cab and made their way towards the cruise. It was almost dark. The sun had set till then. At 9 o'clock both of them reached the pinned destination where a huge cruise waited for them. Taniya was overwhelmed to see the huge cruise. The captain of the ship shouted, "All on board." Taniya and Joshua made their way towards the cruise through the dense crowd. Joshua had booked the first-class tickets for himself and Taniya. The sky above the cruise sparkled with fireworks. It was a fun-filled evening for the newly wedded couple. The cruise was filled with chattering of the guests present on the cruise. Joshua and Taniya's room was on the second floor of the deck. There was a soft, subtle music being played at the background by the musical band present on the cruise. Some on the cruise was having a great time, some were dancing and some were enjoying their scrumptious buffet. On the cruise, Joshua and Taniya were enjoying the dazzling and sparkling fireworks that lit the deep dark sky. Hey Joshua and Taniya, a voice squeaked. Taniya turned around and saw it was Seima, their high school friend. Oh hey, replied Taniya. What are you doing here? Questioned Taniya. Well, I was visiting Cambodia. Saw the cruise tour advertisement and thought why not join it. What are you two doing here? Seima questioned. Well, we are on our honeymoon, Taniya answered. Oh, congratulations both of you. Seima tightly hugged Seima and wished her all the best for her marriage and life ahead. Seeing this, Seima departed off and let Taniya and Joshua enjoy their night. It was dark and late. The cruise had already started its voyage and was in the middle of the ocean as far as Joshua could see. There was no existence of any island near the cruise. Joshua felt tired and so did Taniya. Both of them had their dinner and after the dinner they headed towards their room. Due to extensive traveling and hectic day, Taniya slept all of a sudden. It was midnight when Taniya woke up in the middle of the night. As she turned on the light, she couldn't find Joshua anywhere in the room. Taniya checked the washroom, but Joshua wasn't there either. Taniya called out Joshua's name, but Joshua was nowhere to be found. Taniya pulled over her nightgown and went in search of Joshua around the cruise. As soon as Taniya stepped into the deck area of the cruise, Taniya saw Joshua hugging Saima. Taniya went in a state of shock seeing the whole situation. "What the hell?" yelled Taniya. Joshua turned around hearing Taniya yelling. "Hey, Taniya, I can explain, Taniya, it's not what you think," Joshua murmured. Tears started flowing Taniya's eyes, her whole life came crumbling down on her. Seeing Saima and Joshua together, Taniya was speechless. She had lost all the words. Taniya just stared at Joshua like a lifeless mannequin. Taniya felt betrayed and backstabbed on her honeymoon just 2 days after her marriage. Taniya found her husband being intimate with her class fellow. Her 2 years of relationship was on rock bottom. Taniya felt like screaming on top of her voice, but she felt feeble and helpless. Taniya ran towards her room as fast as she could. Joshua followed her back and came running behind her. "Taniya, Taniya," Joshua shouted. "Listen to me, I can explain." "What do you want to explain?" yelled Taniya. "That on our honeymoon you were having an affair with someone else." "Why, Joshua? Why? Why did you do this? Why are you doing this to me? I was loyal and honest, but you, on the other hand, within just 2 days of being intimidated by another woman, I thought you loved. You promised me that you will stand by me through thick and thin. What happened to all the promises that you made?" questioned Taniya. "Ha ha ha." A wicked laugh echoed the room. It was Saima, Taniya's high school friend. "Did you actually believe him? His words?" Saima questioned. "Do you believe in every word Joshua says?" Saima continued. "Hey, Joshua, why don't you tell her the truth?" Saying this, Saima locked Taniya's bedroom door from inside. "What are you doing?" questioned frightened Taniya. "Why are you locking the door?" "Well, Joshua, should I tell her the truth or will you do the honors?" "Actually, Taniya," Saima started, "before Joshua knew you, he was my boyfriend. Me and Joshua were deeply involved, and we still are involved too. Your whole marriage was a scam plotted by me. You were an hour from a very rich and wealthy family. But me, on the other hand, I am from middle-class family. I always wanted to marry Joshua, but Joshua was from a middle-class family. We both knew that after our marriage we won't be able to make ends meet. Since I planned this whole drama, your father has given you a lot and you could easily live your life. But I had to struggle for everything." So Taniya snatched the engagement ring of Taniya's ring finger. Saima took Taniya's jewelry and all expensive item that Taniya had brought along with her to the trip. Meanwhile, Joshua tied Taniya's hand and feet with the rope and put a duct tape on her mouth so that Taniya couldn't scream. "This whole wedding was a scam and planned by me. Joshua never loved you in the first place. Joshua had always been mine and will always be mine." Saima smirked at Joshua and both hugged each other. It was past midnight and Joshua lifted Taniya on his shoulders and headed outside towards the deck. Taniya wiggled and tried her best to escape the captivity of both Saima and Joshua, but failed. Joshua went to the edge of the deck and flung Taniya into the fast gushing and bursting flowing water of the ocean. As Taniya was tightly tied up with the rope so Taniya couldn't free herself, Taniya's feeble body drowned deep into the ocean depths. Taniya tried to free herself from the ropes, but failed. Her efforts of saving herself failed, and Taniya finally met her ill fate. Her petite body floated lifelessly on the surface of the ocean like an abandoned bride. Taniya was stuck in scam of her colleagues that led to her ill fate. Taniya was murdered within 2 days of her wedding. All her belongings and expensive items were stolen and her body was lost in the depths of the ocean. Nobody knew where Taniya went as her body couldn't be recovered. Whereas Joshua and Saima, they fled Cambodia Island and the police are still searching for them. Hey there, Beautiful bookworms, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Your likings helps this channel a lot. Have a great good night's sleep. Our very first edition of our comic book is out now. For buying, contact us via our business page or business number.